In 2086, two peaceful aliens journeyed to Earth, seeking our help. In return, they gave us the plans for our first hyperdrive, allowing mankind to open the doors to the stars. We have assembled a team of unique individuals to protect Earth and our allies, courageous pioneers committed to the highest ideals of justice and dedicated to preserving law and order across the new frontier. These are the adventures of the Galaxy Rangers.
What's up, Internet? You're listening to the very first episode of the Series 6 podcast, where we review each and every episode of the adventures of the Galaxy Rangers. We are your hosts. I'm RD.
And I'm Jay.
Get ready to engage your hyperdrives. For this inaugural episode, in case you, our listener, were wondering who the F we are, Jay, why don't you talk a little bit about our background, how we know each other, the stuff we are working on, besides this podcast. So, Jay, who are you? How'd you get into my Skype? Where am I? What manner of sorcery is this?
Dude, you called me, man. That's why we're having this thing. That's part of it. But
don't give away what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, so I'm Jay. Ruben, RD and I have known each other for years.
You use my name. I'm going to edit that out.
Please. So,
Proceed.
Yes, I have. Whatever. I'm going to stop laughing now. So I've known RD forever. High school, I think he was drawing in the back of the classroom and I was writing or fooling around in English class. That was the best place to figure out. I had this dream of starting an animation company. We got together, started collaborating. I wrote some of his stuff in his stories. He helped me figure out some concept stuff around my stories and have been doing it for years. We actually tried to start a comic book company in college with some help of friends and would-be artists who will remain nameless for obvious reasons.
Because they're dead.
They're dead to me. It was a good time. I learned a lot about comic book business and art and managing dudes and their girls, maybe. I'm not sure, but good stuff came out of it. Great stories, which have continued to today. Working on a couple stories right now, some loosely based on martial arts stuff that I'm into, with connections to martial art legends.
Going back to what you said earlier, I just want to say for the record that I've never managed a dude or his girl.
No, you didn't.
Go ahead.
No. We didn't really do management. It was like, I gotta go see my girl instead of drawing. I'm like, dude, how are we going to start this company if you're like forever seeing your girl? You can see
me?
No, it wasn't me? You. You know it wasn't you, man. It wasn't you.
Okay.
You did the drawing of my expression in that meeting when I ripped up his pages.
Let's flash forward again. You're talking about martial arts. Go.
Right. Oh man. So So basically, my current favorite story I'm working on is kind of a cross between a martial art legend and just a retelling of the Wing Chun weapon, the dragon staff, and the butterfly sword. So working on that right now, and that's actually going pretty well. Rube's helping me with some art for it, and helping keep me on the beyond fantasy and unbeatable character role, because he keeps me humble like that. Otherwise, we would have, gods in the comic books, and they would never be beat or anything like that.
Like everybody would be Superman without the kryptonite.
That's right.
So yeah, if you want to check out some of my artwork, I post some of it on Twitter every once in a while, and you can see one of the concept pictures that I did for Jay. I'm at RD_Blade. That's on Twitter. So anyway, like Jay said, we have some history rooted in the realm of geekdom. I'm a retro geek and an old school fan of 80s cartoons and anime. I'm also a voice actor with the Audio Nights Theater, an awesome group of people. We're like a family. And you can find them at theaudionightstheater.com. That's Nights with a K and theater with a TRE because we're fancy.
Illiterate.
you can find some fun voiceover stuff I've done on Swag Waves YouTube channel. I encourage you, our one listener, to check his stop motion's out. Subscribe. You'll thank me. He's awesome. Swagwave, what up? And Orbital Bacon, what up? Anyway,
Dude, I didn't bring food to this.
what? We're not gonna be here that long. Come on.
Dude, you said bacon. That's all I'm talking.
Oh, Orbital Bacon. He's another voiceover talent, and he does the special effects for Swagwave.
Yeah, that wasn't my problem, man. It's just the fact that we talked about food. That was all. That's all, man.
I said one word, and now you're hungry.
Yeah, it's shiny object.
Anyway,
Shiny object. I'm sorry.
I'm also working on a graphic novel, written and illustrated by me. I'm not trying to use the douchey definition of graphic novel. Like, this book is not divided up into 22-page comics. That's why it's a graphic novel as opposed to a comic. Anyway, it's a continuous thing. It'll be over 100 pages. Easy. It's probably going to be more, I'm sure. It's ambitious, but it's a passion project, and I'm learning as I go. So, wish me luck. Bear with me. And Jay, before we get into episode 1, titled Phoenix, do you want to talk about how you first got into Galaxy Rangers and why it resonates with you to this day?
Galaxy Ranger. At the time, I think this is one of the few shows on American TV that was anime-esque, but actually an American-made show. It came on a particular block for us too, man. I mean, it came on right before all the Disney stuff came on, because Disney was ruling at the time. I think the inaugural pilot show came on like on a Sunday. I think the complexity of the storyline and art alone, it spoke to me. I see a little Bionic Six-ish stuff in it.
Yeah, it's the same studio that made it.
Yeah. So, was it?
Oh yeah, they did the art.
TMS? Really? They did it too?
Yeah, Tokyo Movie Shinsho.
Yeah.
Is the name of the art studio that did it.
I didn't even notice that in their list of shows. Anyways, and I loved how technical it was. It was right up my alley because I at the time had was dreaming of being an architect, so everything technical made sense to me, and Transformers was always in my mind. So all the pieces and have to look just so and work a certain way. And, science and tech and the things that make it.
Engineering and all that good stuff.
All that was all in my head. And that was the thing I appreciated about how the anime industry worked. I mean, these guys designed these complex machines and things around everything that they did. And, American cartoons were just like, here's a blob.
I mean, from what I understand, they had tons and tons of concept art and images that some of it never even got to be used, but a lot of it did. The creator, Robert Mendel, he talked about sending like hundreds and hundreds of characters and kind of overwhelming the studio. But
yeah, if we ever do that, that'd probably be us. I was amazed at just learning about how fast they pulled this off. That was nuts. So like 65 episodes in 11 months.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah, well, he wanted to strike while the iron was hot, I guess.
Yeah, he jumped in with both feet and pushed really hard, man. I couldn't imagine the schedule and how many people they had working at once to do it actually. And it's a traditional cell animation process. This is before all the cool machine stuff we have now that we can do to actually do an animation a little bit faster. Like, we have software that can help us.
There was quite a bit of CGI in the show.
Oh yeah.
And they made a big spectacle out of it, because, it took like 4 years to render 30 seconds.
Some of the first art was done on some Atari computer. I was like, what? That's crazy. I mean, an Atari computer. If anyone knows who Atari is, then a computer made by them had to be pretty low end, man. I think, people have watches with more memory than this thing.
But nowadays, yeah.
I think a Fitbit has more memory in it. The one without the screen. They did good work in a time where CG wasn't prevalent. It's good. I mean, actually seeing CG in that regard, and I look back at it, I mean, I did a decent amount of CG in my career. For the architectural industry, and
you had it right the first time. It's the injury,
yeah. It was an injury.
Don't digress.
I won't. I'm gonna keep on. I was like, yeah, you're making me have flashbacks, and like, you almost had me in the corner where like sucking my thumb, dude.
You're like, I seen some shit.
Holy crap, I seen them. No, stop it. But yeah, so I mean, you see how long it takes to actually do some of this work, and just the time and effort they put into put these little sections in and it actually added something to it. Just gave life to the characters that actually helped the Rangers do their jobs. And then some background stuff. I don't remember much of. I don't actually, as I've been reviewing everything, don't see as much. Yeah, I'm guessing it's because of just how long it takes to render. I mean, we're not talking Pixar. They didn't have like a farm of computers to do it, I'm assuming. So
No, I don't know.
I don't know either, man.
Honestly,
I don't. I know.
I don't want to speculate too much.
I doubt it, man.
Then I end up talking out of my cheeks.
Yeah.
Okay, so like let's start the episode, and we took notes, so we're gonna commentate as we go through it. This isn't a commentary track. This is just us talking about it with the episode playing in the background, just so we have like visual cues in the background that might trigger memories. So the episode's starting now, Jay.
Yep. Yeah, I kind of appreciate how when Waldo and Zozo come in the shot where there's multiple pieces moving at the same time, and just this kind of rotating in the view, which not a lot of. I don't think many cartoons.
That's the wireframe you're talking about, right? The wireframe of the ship.
No, actually, if you go back a few ticks, you can see where kind of the scene kind of like there'll be the background will be moving to the left, the background slides forward, and the foreground moves backwards, and it just kind of gives you this phony rotation. It's a little dramatic.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think it's like parallax scrolling, sort of.
Yeah.
If you're into like the 8-bit video games.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do something similar to that in Transformers the movie when Optimus Prime does his hammer fist.
Yep.
Like the whole background kind of rotates around him.
Right. I mean, I think there's some shows that did that really dramatic approaches just go around the entire. I mean, I'm not gonna mention many other. Well, I will mention other 80s shows that are actually big on rotating around the characters as they do as a transformation or a power move or something like that. I mean, Mask was notorious for it, which Mask with all the transforming vehicles and all that stuff.
Speaking of, we just saw the title sequence, and that I want to say that the first thing that jumped out at me as I watched the opening sequence was the music. I mean, it's fantastic, like 80s style, like Kenny Loggins in your face, bitch.
Right, that's right. It was great. It was, man. I loved the music for the show. I mean, it actually was great. The original song was good, but then it came out with this other one, Rangers Are Forever.
Rangers Are Forever.
Yeah, that was the song.
Yeah, I'm going to use that one to play us out.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving it away.
Dude, I didn't say anything about. You don't want to just gave it away, man.
I know. I wanted to like spring it on people.
Yeah. But that's my favorite. That was the song.
Yeah. We could talk a little bit about other shows that had awesome ass music. You mentioned Mask before. The theme music for Mask is like, holy crap, man. If there's one song that encapsulates the 80s, it's the Mask theme song.
It definitely did. Transformers was pretty good until then the movie came out, and then I was like, okay, and then the music really got good, but
like the Stan Bush music, you mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
That was pretty good.
That is actually, I think that was the first person that I followed on our Twitter. By the way, our Twitter is @Galaxy_Rangers, and we are the Series 6 podcast. So just check us out. Oh, I think you already checked us out if you're listening to this.
Probably. I mean,
yeah, probably.
The one listener, probably.
You, listener, have already checked us out, and I thank you.
Yep. You will be blessed. You will be blessed many times over for something.
The Wheeled Warriors soundtrack.
Oh yeah, man. Oh, I totally. You know what? I showed my son that, man. He loved it. Loved it.
What, the intro or the show?
The show. He loved it. And he was one who's like, I bought like a box set or something, or just like the one set that had a bunch of episodes on it. He was just loving it.
I think I picked up that set as well.
Yeah.
For me, it didn't hold up.
No. You look at it, you're looking at it, you're like, yeah. But the art was great for that. For what, it was definitely a toy-driven show, but,
Yeah.
Which is different than Galaxy Rangers, which I appreciate, because Galaxy Rangers was the concept first, then the toy. Whereas Wheel Warrior was clearly the toy, then the show.
Yeah. Same as Transformers.
Transformers, I don't know.
Transformers was toy first.
Then show?
Yeah, they came mostly from Diaclones.
Yep, the Japanese shows, right?
No, Japanese toys. They had no fiction.
Okay.
And I forget the guy, maybe Jay Bacall. He saw the toys and he had Marvel, Bob Budiansky actually, come up with a fiction for it.
Good stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah, G.I. Joe, on the other hand, is the other way around too, right? G.I. Joe has always been around, but then they modernized it and came up with toys. And I remember the first gen toys were like, there wasn't a whole lot of story with the first gen toys, but by the second gen, the TV show, the 2 movies had come out, and then they had unique characters for everything. It was great. So back to our buddies in Galaxy Ranger, and we're gonna go back to Galaxy Ranger. And those toys, I never actually laid my hands on, not a one. Saw them, but never touched one.
Which one?
Any of the Galaxy Ranger toys, none of it.
I remember not being impressed by the toys.
Nah, man, they were lame. They were lame. I mean, you had G.I. Joe that had Kung Fu Grip and thank you, Eddie Murphy, putting that out.
I mean,
But they didn't even have that. They were like,
well, G.I. Joes were like really well designed action figures. You know, they were super posable.
right.
They turned at the waist. They had like a almost a ball joint at the waist where they're connected to the hip.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember I took many apart and put them together and made Frankenstein G.I. Joes.
A lot of the time, those O-rings, they don't last. They end up getting dry rotted. So, like, if you have old G.I. Joes, you go to pick them up and they just, like, completely fall apart in your hands.
Yeah.
But all hope is not lost because you can buy the O-rings. Anyway.
I don't know what Galaxy Ranger ever had. I mean, they reminded me when I saw them, I was thinking like Happy Meal characters or kind of like He-Man was, which I wasn't a fan of the He-Man toy either because I couldn't articulate all the joints and limbs, and that for me that was a big thing.
The He-Man toys were pretty much just like a couple of templates.
Yep.
Of the same, the same bodies over and over again, just and redone in different colors and stuff. And then they would do a different head and accessories and shit like that.
Right.
Except for Ram Man. He had a unique mold, but it sucked.
Yep.
Everybody hated their Ram Man.
Well, so we've talked about every other 80s cartoon and toy, but we're supposed to be talking about Galaxy Rangers, man. So
okay, so in 2086, 2 aliens came to Earth. Zozo and Waldo, right?
Yeah.
And it says that they're in need of help, but it doesn't appear that their ship is damaged or anything.
Right. You know what? I think the premise was, and I think in the interview from the creator, he talked about they were kind of borrowing the idea from, and if you look, it's the first episode. The first episode also is the pilot episode that they were using to sell the show to networks, which I found was interesting that they have to go door to door to actually sell the show back in those days instead of like one big conglomerate.
Yeah, to each network.
Yeah, each network, man. I was crazy, man. And that, to actually look at the list that his marketing guy would just, hey, this channel in New Jersey. Hey, this channel in New York. Hey, this.
So it wasn't just like it wasn't just going to each network, like going to ABC, going to NBC.
No, it was going to
they had to go
station.
they had to go to ABC New York, ABC LA.
ABC.
Yes.
Right. That sounds lame. I can't just.
It sounds cool if you want to travel the country.
Yeah, man, but then you're sleeping in hotels, and and back in those days, there's no such thing as Sky Miles, man.
I guess in my world, there still is no such thing as Sky Miles. So
there was such thing as a car to get where you need to go. Like, we're going to see Grandma. Get in the car. Who's sitting in the back? I don't want to sit with them. They're touching me. Touching me. Shut up and eat your sandwich.
Eating while mobile. Nothing like it.
Yeah, in a hot car with siblings and their smells and lack of.
All right. Anyway, so Zozo and Waldo, they're the aliens that come to Earth in search of help.
Right, and I think he talked a little bit about how it was more like Seven Samurai. They were coming to Earth, and if you look at the first episode, you'll see the similarities. They're farmers, and even in the story they'd mention like stuff going on, like they say the ship's approaching, and one of the Kiwis says, the harvest hasn't come in yet. And I'm like, that's completely Seven Samurais. Or, Magnificent Seven that actually is a more a modernized offshoot of the same thing. The Galaxy Rangers come to save the town and stuff like that. But they don't get to that part yet. I mean, that never had. They just take cues from that movie.
Yeah, they give like little hints of the influences.
Yeah, they do.
Which were like you said, Seven Samurai, spaghetti westerns.
Oh yeah,
that kind of deal. He really loved Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns, like the Sergio Leone kind of deals. And I think they kind of based Shane Gooseman off of like an amalgam of some western characters that some of whom were played by Clint Eastwood, which is why he has that Clint Eastwood kind of voice.
Or he says, shut your face, or like he does his like Dirty Harry again. He's like, he's still Clint. It's like, I ain't talking to you, shut your face. I'm like,
but Shane Gooseman does not even, he barely makes an appearance in this episode. He shows up at the very end.
Right. And the first episode is just building just the world, this actually I think it's more introducing the world that the Galaxy Rangers are gonna be in, or the galaxy. That's their namesake, and they just trying to map it out and actually identifying true villain.
They're showing that the people of Earth, they explore. Now that they've met Zozo and Waldo and they shared hyperdrive technology, they can travel around and hang out and stuff. So they're going to Zozo's world, I believe. And Zozo's world is where the harvest hasn't come in yet and all that. And they're in a ship called the Phoenix, and that's what the episode is named after.
And it's supposed to be a peaceful mission too, because Zach brought his whole family, except for the mother-in-law, but everybody else is dead.
I'm thinking maybe he should have brought the mother-in-law.
She might have been the cool slaver lord,
Just kidding.
Like Queen would have been like, "This is the most powerful slaver lord ever. It's the mother-in-law." Exactly. Fox.
The mother-in-law.
Just be like, and then he would have never become a Series 5 Ranger, because he's like, save who?
Okay, but we're talking as if our one listener knows everything about Galaxy Rangers.
Oh, poor guy.
Let's give a play-by-play of the episode.
Okay, yeah. Dude, watch the episode. Just it's on you.
Watch the episode and then listen to us like talk in circles about it.
I know about everything. So he took the whole family. I mean, this is the station wagon of spaceships.
Yes, it's complete with the wood panel siding.
Does it have wood panels on it?
No.
I'm looking for it in that.
But
it could.
Isn't Zachary's last name Griswold?
No, it could be. Oh man, that would be hilarious. Yeah.
Okay, so Zozo's world gets attacked by Queen of the Crown, and she sends in her minions, which are a bunch of cool-looking robot dudes.
Yeah, she's heard that humans are now in her galaxy, within her reach, and I think she's curious as to figuring out if and how powerful, because she uses these crystals that suck the life essence of beings into them, and she has other aliens that she's been practicing on a bunch of aliens that are in her reach or in her realm as is, and now she finds a new species she wants to try to practice on. So
yeah, fresh meat.
Yeah, so she's like, I'd like to try these guys,
Yeah.
Try sushi. You haven't tried, you like it, you don't like it, whatever. It's like cilantro. It's like soap.
It's unclear if she knows that Zachary and the Phoenix and his family are heading to Zozo's planet.
Right.
What's the planet called? Prairie?
I forget what the planet is called. It said it too.
Yeah, I'm not a very good host.
No. I mean, if we're talking Kirwin.
Okay.
Planet's Kirwin.
So she seems to just attack it in the hopes of finding some humans.
Well, she knows humans are there because they're working with the Kiwis to, figure out to make more genetically engineered food. And they mentioned how like it's actually a whole human contingent there working with the Kiwis. Actually, talking about they're going to be able to feed the entire Galactic Alliance.
I'm glad one of us watched this episode.
Yeah,
I'm going to edit this whole part out. Don't worry about it.
Why? Why would you edit it out, dude? Leave it in. Because
we'll see.
Unfortunately,
it'll be a judgment call.
Whatever, man. I'm a detail-oriented person, man. That's why this is where we at. So, and all I need is I have it paused. Started, pause it. But they talk about how the whole human contingent is there to actually figure out how to make food, and they're just working. And we're working with the with Zozo's people, which I can't remember their name, but I'll remember eventually. And then Alterans are
Waldo's people.
Waldo's people are Alterans, and then Kiwis. Kiwis are Zozo's people.
So Waldo, I'm not sure if Waldo is old or not. I mean, he has a receding hairline. He has white hair.
All their people look like that, dude. I haven't seen it.
Wrinkled face.
Yep.
But I think they all look like that. Even the children.
I don't know about that.
They're all the same height.
I haven't seen the children yet. I can't remember any children.
Maybe you have seen them. They're all the same height.
They probably are. But I know there's another Alteran on Kirwin actually talking with a human. So there's a human Alteran, and a Kiwi having a discussion.
Walk into a bar.
They don't walk into a bar. That's a bad joke, man. That's another episode. Okay. That's a different episode, actually. Not this.
It's a bad joke episode. We'll do that one next time.
No, that's the episode that happens. A Kiwi human and an Alteran walk into a bar. It happens. It's a Western, dude. It's gonna happen. There'll be bars and fighting, and
You're absolutely right.
You know, dancing girls, hopefully. Well, this is a family show, so maybe not. And they're having a discussion about genetically engineered, what they're going to do and all that stuff, you know. And, you know, of course, you get little snippets of what the races are like. These two friendly races are like. You know, you understand that one's a farmer race and the other is more of an advanced race. And somehow they've come together and united with the humans to bring the humans into the Galactic Alliance, and I have no idea why. So, you know, and the other thing about this, it's not really clear. It looks like they're asking for help from humans, but it's not necessarily. They're just friendly guys.
You know what? I don't think even the creators of the show dwelled on it very much.
Nah.
Let's go to where they get space jacked by pirates.
Yeah.
So Zach, his family, and the Phoenix, along with Waldo and Zozo, they encounter a pirate ship. The captain of this ship is Captain Kidd, who is a dude. He's like a pretty big dude with a chicken head.
No, it's a parrot, dude.
Is a parrot?
Yeah, it's a parrot.
Okay.
It's totally a parrot if you think about it.
I just wanted to say the word chicken head.
Of course you did. That's a
So
not cool female reference from back in.
So
Any ladies watching this?
Look,
She is that person.
our one listener is aware of the 90s and
Yeah.
knows what a chicken head is.
Yeah.
So
Whatever.
so
Any ladies listening? He is that
he
guy.
he has his own salacious crom.
What? Salacious
Uh,
what?
Captain Kidd has his own salacious crom, which is the little the guy that used to hang out with Jabba the Hutt.
Oh yeah, the little monkey on his shoulder. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
But think about it. They're making fun of the whole pirate thing. We have a giant alien parrot with a monkey on his shoulder instead of having
Okay.
a pirate with a pirate with a parrot on his shoulder. So
Okay.
they have a humanoid being that can talk and all on his shoulder, mocking everything he says.
All right.
You know, I mean, it's,
Now I'm starting to see it from a different perspective. Thank you for that.
you're quite welcome. That's what I'm here for. Different perspectives.
Okay. So Captain Kidd, I notice he says the word booty a lot.
Yeah, he does. I think that was intentional. I think they just,
That was my point. I just wanted to mention that.
that's what the chicken head reference had to do with?
With booty?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, it did, dude.
Keep it moving. Keep it
Yeah,
moving.
whatever.
So,
So Zach goes outside. They have like manacles around the ship, I guess.
Before that, they were in hyperspace and they got drug out of hyperspace by Captain Kidd's ship. They talk about some net that pulled them out of hyperspace. So,
Oh well, he has tech that I guess is the kind of stuff that pirates use.
yeah. So,
It's like their version of a tractor beam, I guess.
well, they have that too. They use that too.
Okay, so you stop proving that you watched the episode.
What? I'm not. I'm just here. I'm just here listening.
Okay, so they get boarded. A bunch of lizard dudes attack them, right?
Yeah, from the outside first. Zach's on the outside trying to cut away the little clamps that are holding the ship in place.
yes.
They get attacked by a bunch of dudes. Then, you know, because Captain Kidd sends out his whole crew of boarding guys, which I find interesting that Captain Kidd's navigator look like the Greys from every alien show that we've ever seen that abduct humans anyway. Find that kind of
Yeah.
interesting? They're
That is kind of funny. They also they also look a little bit like the red shirt aliens in Voltron.
red shirt aliens.
Yeah, you know the guys that just die by the droves.
No, I don't. I'll have to rewatch Voltron. Which one? The new one or the old one?
Well, no, the old Voltron.
Okay.
Nobody ever died. They were quote robots in
In American.
on in Voltron. In Beast King Go Line, they were actually green alien dudes
And they died.
that were dying and getting decapitated and stuff.
Well, you know, Japanese were very realistic in their approach to. They're violent folk. It's fine. It's fine.
Sure. I mean, they depicted their violence pretty accurately.
Yeah, they said, you know, make the more violent we scare the crap out of the kids, they won't want to do it. I think that was their philosophy. Our kids,
I'll never go to space, mommy.
you know, after seeing Fist of the North Star, they didn't want to punch anybody either. So,
Well, Fist of the North Star looked like a tickle fest. Up until like 10 seconds later, then you see the guy bubbling up and explode.
yeah, no, that's pretty interesting. Never saw it as a tickle fest. All right, anyways, back to Galaxy Rangers. So Zach gets ambushed. He gets shot in the back. And then the next scene is, you know, his wife's telling him to get out of there. Of course, his wife screams dramatically, "Get out of there, Zach." He gets shot in the back and he's drug inside the ship.
And that's where you find out Captain Kidd's plan. He's going to sell the humans to the Queen because he knows that she has a taste for human souls.
Or she hasn't yet. She's just interested.
Mm-hmm.
So he's thinking, and then of course he's talking about his favorite pastime, booty.
So then Mom frees the kids on the shuttle, and she gets attacked by one of the lizard dudes. Now this scene, the way it's animated, I mean, it looks like she's in real peril. Like it's like alarming the way it's animated.
I agree. It was a little bit on the not cool side.
Yeah.
I was just like, wait a minute.
A little problematic.
I was like, that's not really nice, but you know.
But nothing untoward happened other than her getting captured.
Right. I think, you know, this those Japanese guys letting them have their way, and I guess, you know, those guys said.
But this is how she gets captured. She actually defeats the lizard dude, right? Like he has her pinned down, and I guess he's gonna wait for like reinforcements and drag her in. But what happens is she manages to get free, grabs the gun, and shoots him in the middle of his chest, seemingly killing him. I don't know.
Right. Maybe there were other. Well, you know, he wasn't the only one on the ship, though.
Right. There were others on the ship, but as soon as she shoots him and she defeats him, and she knows that the kids are free, they already escaped in the shuttle. She seems to be satisfied with that and just passes out.
Right.
From the stress of of what
that was lame, or passing out.
Well, I mean, it happens sometimes. People get fatigued. So
right. They take off their boots and stuff.
Her name is Eliza, by the way. I keep calling her Mom. She's not my mom.
She's not somebody's mom.
She's somebody else's mom.
She is somebody else's mom. So while this is going on, though, Zachary's fighting for his life to get off Captain Kidd's ship, where he's been held and been here. He's heard Captain Kidd's plan. He's in some force shield pin of some sort, and Zozo and Waldo have decided to actually go over and rescue him. So they've snuck on the Captain Kidd's ship. They've been inside. They actually asked one of the guards how they turn off the force shield. And the guard is standing there playing with his tongue, I think. I think he's playing with his tongue. I looked at it a couple times. I was like, what the heck is he doing? is he trying to grab his tongue? And of course the guy turns around and gives them the answer they need. And then you see Zozo and Waldo do this little, Zozo does a monkey flip, which is what is typically what I've called it since I was like in 6th grade. And then into Waldo, who has some little power shield thing that the alien slams into and then falls down dead in the name.
It comes from his ring, right?
Yeah, there's always that ring. And you get to see the little sparkle, so they showed it it's from the ring. They give you the little key. And you would think that, these aliens with this technology would have been able to develop weapons in another way. But, I think Waldo's people are pacifists. And that's why they need Earth's help, because humans are far from pacifists.
Right.
We're good at shooting each other. So maybe they can shoot our enemies. And, that's what I figured. They were thinking, what's the most violent, non-galactic alliance people we can find to help us make this right?
Well, here's the thing, though. If they're pacifists, like, if you were a pacifist, wouldn't you be against violence of any kind? So, like, you wouldn't recruit a bodyguard to go and kill people for you.
Why not? I mean, you got to be safe, too.
No, I mean, that doesn't absolve you of any guilt just because somebody else did it on your behalf.
Okay, now we're going religious. So let's talk about pacifism. So if you're a pacifist, it's your personal choice to not strike somebody. It doesn't have to be, you can hire somebody to strike somebody for.
All right, he's a pacifist with loopholes.
Right, exactly. I think all of his people are, because that's probably the reason why they went to Earth. Like, who are the most primitive gunslinging bunch of modes? If we give them some tech, they'll go handle their business plus ours.
If I had to guess, I would say that they have built into their genetic structure the very same thing that limits you when you're dreaming that you're in a fight and you swing with all your might and it's like and like it grazes right off the person.
Oh, yeah.
And they just look at you and keep pummeling you.
Yeah, so they've actually genetic pansy factor, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if that's happened to anybody else, but like I've had dreams where I'm in a fight.
Yeah.
I swing with all my might and it has zero effect.
I've never had those dreams, but
Are you serious?
Fighting in dreams? Nah.
Well, la di da.
Well, the whole martial art thing just turned all that around for me, man. But I was trying to live life. You lived in our neighborhood. Come on, man. We were like,
Yeah, that was fun.
you're like having a fight is like you're like if I'm gonna have a fight, it's gonna be a fight, man. It's one of I have to survive, dude, and get back home to where it's safe.
Yeah.
You don't understand. But yeah, so I mean that type of stuff. So I don't know. Maybe they are pansies. I mean, but if they all look like old dudes, maybe they just don't have the will.
Maybe their bones are brittle.
It makes sense. The whole race has receding hairlines. They already got self-esteem issues. All right. Our entire race are old men. They're a little annoyed by that. And if everybody's old, so the men are old, the women are old, and the kids are old, come on, man. It's like, what do you do? What do you do?
Okay. Let's get to it. We're almost at the end. So
It's a rocking chair convention.
What? So Zozo and Waldo rescue Zack. They steal an outlaw shuttle. That's what Captain Kidd and his crew are called, the Outlaws.
Right.
So they steal an outlaw shuttle. They escape, and Captain Kidd, in a fit of anger, blows up the Phoenix, Zack's Earthship.
Yeah.
And he has imprisoned Eliza, Zack's wife.
But he doesn't know that, though. But you don't know that right away. You just see Captain Kidd shoot the ship. Zack screams his wife's name, Eliza.
Yeah, Zack thinks that his kids and his wife are on the ship still, right?
Right.
Yeah, so there's this big dramatic moment.
Yep, but I think he's like, he's kind of pissed off because, of course, the ship's computer, smashes his ship first, and they're just trying to make, of course, they're making a beeline. Zack and them are making a beeline for the ship, and
yeah, it's blown up right in front of them.
Well, yeah, no, they get tractor beam first, and then,
Oh, you're watching it happen.
I am actually.
Turn the volume down.
I said the tractor. I remember the tractor beam. Of course, Captain Kidd being a pirate, he double crosses the queen because the queen says she's not gonna pay him or give him his booty, whatever that means.
Yeah, and he wants booty.
He does want booty. Poor dude.
All right, so the episode is 22 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it's 20 minutes before you actually see the rest of the team, the Galaxy Rangers team. This is when they first formed a team. So it cuts immediately from the Phoenix blowing up to Zack escaping and all that stuff. And then it goes straight to introducing the team and giving a quick showcase of each of their powers. So Zack, his arm is bionic, and his power when he touches his badge is he shoots out a blast called the Thunderbolt, I want to say.
Yep.
So his arm will light up and then it shoots a blast. And then there's Miko, who is telekinetic.
Oh.
Or is she telepathic / telekinetic?
She's all around psychic.
She has psychic abilities. She's already psychic. Like everybody already has powers except for Doc.
I think it enhances your innate abilities that you already have. He's already a computer
whiz, right?
Right. He's supposedly a computer whiz. He's a computer psychologist. Who the heck gets that job? Somebody cushy and doesn't want to get into a whole mess of stuff.
Well, he's in good shape for a guy that's got a desk job.
Dang right, man. I mean, I would, and that's the thing. I mean, I would suggest anyone who gets into this and starts watching this, man. I mean, the DVD sets out there. I mean, I'd buy it because you can see the pilot and also Phoenix. I mean, there's a pilot version that they use to sell, which is a little bit different. I mean, a couple things happen differently that you'll be like, oh, okay, wait. So because Captain Kidd gets away with Zack's whole family, not just his wife in the pilot, and it becomes interesting. I mean, that would change the whole story in that direction too. And the Queen of the Crown looks totally different, so I guess they decided to change the art for her and make her make her more older, sinister woman who looks kind of more like my daughter saw it and she said, she looks like I forget who it is, one of the characters from the Disney Evil Queens from Disney.
Yeah, she looks like the queen that gave Snow White the apple.
Oh yeah, that's her. Yeah, and I don't know if it's from Once Upon a Time or what, but who knows?
It's from Snow White.
Yeah, and then that's the first episode for the most part. And then you get the whole finishing song and all that other good stuff.
We didn't talk about Gooseman's powers, but
oh yeah, Gooseman. You get to see him. You don't see any powers; you see him twirling some guns.
Yes, you're right. But they did mention what he does.
And he's like, I'm ready. I'm like, that's great. That's great. And what I find interesting, in the pilot, he has only one gun. The actual show that they aired, he has two. So they
amped up his cool factor.
They did, he needs two guns. He needs to be a double-handed gun. So he needs to be left and right at the same time.
I think one of his superpowers is being like a super good-looking dude.
Who?
Shane Guzman.
Okay. He's supposed to be?
I think so. I think that's like one of his powers because
he's supposed to be charming.
Like
the mullet did it all. I know.
Yeah, man.
The mullet, he was just rocking a mullet.
Look, a mullet will make anybody, it'll bring you up 2 numbers. Like if you're a 7, you get a mullet that makes you a 9.
That's right. My mullet is rocking, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no longer available, so I don't need to step up my mullet game. But if you're single and you're trying to get attention,
and
you grow a mullet.
And then travel back to the 80s so you can actually be reviewed.
If it's a spiky mullet, that's even better.
Wait a minute. That's wrong. That's wrong.
So the last line of the episode is Zach telling his kids,
"Yeah,
don't worry, we're gonna bring her home."
That's true.
And then you get the closing credits.
But I swear I saw. Well, there was something about it. Who said something? Wait a minute. I need to go back because I felt like somebody said something that made all of them smile at once. I don't know. Maybe that was in the pilot, but I don't know. I get the two confused. Of course, I watched them back to back. I watched it just in running comparisons of the two.
You're a lot less confused than I am. And I thank you for joining me today. So, everybody, that was episode 1, Phoenix, of Adventures of the Galaxy Rangers is the actual name of the show. So, we will see you next time.
I know the answer.
What's that?
I know who did it. Can I say it, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. So, the computer says it. So, one more time to toss this CG out there. And there. Family computer GB says, "We're with you, sir," in his very enthusiastic, soft-spoken computer voice, which is very dorky. But anyways, I had to prove my point. So I've done it.
All right. Well, you win 1 internet. Congratulations.
Thank you. I invented it as well. Anyways,
Al Gore in the house.
Yeah.
So, all right, internet, and by internet I mean our 1 listener.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. And we will see you next time for episode 2, New Frontier. Peace.
Peace.
Okay, you can stop recording now.